beauty blender and brushes. This is my personal beauty blender. So we're going to clean this. I'm going to show you how to clean a big brush, and a smaller brush, and an eyeliner brush. So the first thing we're going to do is clean this beauty blender. At home, if you don't have brush soap, which is right here, this is one version of it. It comes in a jar like that, and this one is like that too. If you don't have these, it's okay to use a sulfate-free cleanser. I wouldn't recommend dish soap, and I wouldn't recommend coconut oil, or recommend getting brush soap or cleanser. So I'm going to first wash my beauty blender with some cleanser. So I'm just going to wet it and put a little dollop there, and then just kind of massage it into the sponge. And then just rinse it out. You can watch the foundation coming out of the sponge. Probably need to do this a couple of times. You should be doing this at least once a week, if not every day. I can understand that you won't have time to do this every day, so try to do it once a week. It's important to get that bacteria out of the sponge. Sponges are really only good for personal use, reusable sponges. On clients, I use disposable sponges because you can't really get them completely clean. But you can get this clean enough so that it's okay to use on your face. And it's still got a little more dirt on there. Just going to put it a little dot there and just kind of work it in there until you get all of the foundation off. And then you want to wring it out as best as you can and get all the soap out and lay it out to dry. And when you use your beauty blenders, most of the times people will use them damp. When you put them away, don't put them in a drawer. You want them, leave them out in the open because you don't want them to collect the water, and then that turns to mold. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how to clean a big brush. I prefer to use the little soaps in a jar here. The first thing you're going to do is take your brush and wet it. Notice that I'm putting the brush facing down, and I'm not having the water touch this ferrule. That's what the silver part is. And I'm just going to wet the end of the brush, turn the water off, and then I'm also going to actually just turn the water back on, wet the soap a little bit, and then I'm just going to gently move the brush around in the soap the same way that you would use it on your face. So if you tend to swirl your big brushes on your face, then do a swirl. If you tend to pat, do that, or you can do both. Once you've kind of get that in there, then you can kind of massage the bristles gently with your fingers. You really don't need to do too much. And then you'll watch here, watch as the foundation comes out of it. And it's only darker in color because it's wet. That's going to dry nice and white again. And I lay it down flat to dry, just like that. So the next step is this brush here. So this kind of brush you use in a sweeping motion, so that's the way I'm going to clean it. It's the same sort of thing. Move that soap around a little bit. Squeeze it out and still have that downward angle on the brush. And then just to make sure you get all the water out, you can take your towel and fold it over. Then you want to make sure the brush is nicely shaped so that when it dries, it's just like how it was before. And that was the one from before. Okay, last one. This is a different kind of brush. Just gonna lightly wet that. This is something you use for eyeliner, so I'm gonna just drag it on the way you use it on the eye. And I'm gonna go ahead and rinse that. See that little gunk right there? That comes right out. So easy. And if, you know, as a makeup artist, I go through this pretty quickly, but, you know, for personal use, you only have about like 8 or 10 brushes. So this will last you a really long time, and it's worth it to get it for your brushes. It contains natural antimicrobials and goat's milk, so that it will not only clean and get the bacteria off, but also condition your brushes, which will make them feeling like new. And then I'm just gonna make sure this is nice and pinched so it dries in the right shape. We're gonna do one more, because this one you can see the color, and this one you can see how dirty it is. So I'm just gonna do these really quickly. I'm just gonna wet that again, just so it. When I apply blush, I tend to pat it first and then kind of blend it, so I kind of have to move it around both ways. And so I'm just gonna kind of use my fingers as a little grill, or a scrubbing, I don't know what you call those things, and then just let the soap kind of come out of there. So I'll have that downward angle on the brush. Put some music on while you're doing this, you know, make it a fun activity. This shouldn't be something that you don't like doing, because if you use makeup, you want to have clean brushes on your face. Okay, so you can see how that's clean. So we're going to lay it there. Here's another one. Just going to wet the end. Kind of do both ways, counterclockwise, and then pat it, and then just give it a good how beautiful and clean they are. That was so easy. Sometimes there's a little bit extra in there and you gotta just do it again. And just gently rinse it out. You don't have to pull hard on the bristles. You're just kind of getting that product out, shape it up, lay it to dry.